Sri Lanka has been dominated by conflict for many years. The conflict, which began in 1983, was played out between the LTTE, or the so-called Tamil Tigers, and the government of Sri Lanka. The demand for an independent state in the northeast of Sri Lanka was a central demand of the LTTE. But what is the background of this demand? And what is the cause of the conflict? Some argue that the cause of the conflict can be traced back to the British colonial rule when Sri Lanka was known as Ceylon. A nationalist Sinhalese political movement moved forward in the early 20th century with the aim of achieving independence for the country. This was eventually granted by the British when the country became independent in 1948. However, not soon after, in the wake of independence, conflict and disputes began between the Sinhalese and Tamil groups for power in the country. In 1956, the SLFP won a landslide victory in Sri Lanka based on promises to make Sinhala the country's only official language.
Well, when our country became independent, naturally the question arose of national language superseding English as the official language of the country. Sinhalese we decided upon as the official language because 70% of the people of Ceylon are Sinhalese.
This really added fuel to the fire of disagreements.
That the Tamils can't use their language the same way that the Sinhalese people can. Means that there is a rights violation there. There is also practical problems associated with their employment because people who know Sinhala, especially if you are going to join the government service and so on, stand a better chance than others. In terms of education, though there has been no active or straightforward discrimination, the setup is such that the Tamil areas find it more difficult to get students into universities than areas outside.
In 1985, attempts were made to facilitate peace talks between the LTTE and the government, but they soon broke down. Finally, in 2002, a ceasefire came into force, which Norway had helped to bring about.
The government of Sri Lanka and the LTTE, the Tamil Tigers, found that they needed somebody to go between them and to help them facilitate the peace process. They were not able to do this on their own, and they decided to find some impartial, neutral country to do that job for them.
During the ceasefire, negotiations took place which considered the LTTE goal of establishing a Tamil homeland.
Basically, the Tamils look upon themselves as a nation because they, in every sense of the word, they satisfy what is internationally accepted as a nation, in the sense that they speak a language, they have a historical memory that goes back to a couple of millennia. They also have a will to be together, and this the last 30 years war has been because of a will to live together and be a community. Now that doesn't mean that there are no distinctions within the community itself. There is, but basically they stick together as a community. And it is only when we look at it like that that the Tamils can look upon themselves as a group that has the right to self-determination.
The idea of a Tamil homeland or even self-rule is, however, not popular among many nationalists.
Tamil call North and East is their homeland, they have right to self-rule and right to self-determination there. But Tamils have a country. No nation in this world have two homelands. Sinhalese homeland is Sri Lanka. In a similar manner, Tamil's homeland is Tamil Nadu in India. It's a state in India. Tamil Nadu means the country of Tamils. So they have a right to self-determination in Tamil Nadu, but not in Sri Lanka. But as any other citizen, as any Sinhalese, Muslims, Tamil also have the equal citizen rights to treated like an equal person in this country. In fact, they have received their rights beyond their due share, because Tamil is not a national language, even in their homeland, in India. But Tamil is a national language in Sri Lanka. So here there's a misinterpretation of the problem, and the Tamil elite who was ruling this country during the British colonial period lost their privileged position. Once they were ruling Sinhalese, after independence, because of the democracy, they were ruled by Sinhala majority governments, as that's a case in any democracy, majority rules. So they couldn't bear with it. They could absorb the shock of, created by the departure of the British. That's why they have they motivated the youth to fight for their own country, which has no base.
The peace and conflict researcher nevertheless argues that the cause of the conflict in Sri Lanka is not solely about the LTT's desire to create a Tamil homeland.
If you take it from the democratic angle, mainly it is due to the majoritarianism, which is a outcome of the way Sri Lankan democratic institutions and processes are practiced. It's a majoritarian rule. So that has created a certain relative deprivation as well as marginalization of certain groups, minority groups, who are not in position to enjoy the power of the state. Then you have another factor, that is from if you look at from 1948, you can see that the democratic institutions have been collapsed and not reconstructed or reformed to provide or cater the demands of the multicultural society. Those are the main causes for Sri Lankan conflict. But quite apart from that, I can tell you various reasons. Like, there is a primordial aspect, that is, historically the Sri Lankan minorities or Sri Lankan nationalities like Muslims, Sinhalese and Tamils are having certain historical grievances, tensions, contradictions that also have a certain impact over the conflict. Then you have the political entrepreneurship, right? Where the political elite have used these particular tensions for their own advantage. So likewise, if you try to explain the causes for Sri Lankan conflict, you can give a plethora of causes.